Now the next slide is voluntary offers. Minimum eligibility for having a substantial undertaking is 25%. Then offer size minimum of 10%. Then last 52-week voluntary acquisition by self and pack, cannot make a voluntary offer, cannot do acquisition shares from open market during offer period, cannot offer for 6 months post offer period except through another voluntary offer. Voluntary acquisition by promoter, whether hit by a bar on earlier acquisition rule or not. So here we can see clearly that voluntary offer is also one kind of offer where there has to be a minimum eligibility of 25%, and offer size also is given of minimum of 10%, right? And 52 weeks voluntary acquisition by self and packed by a target company cannot make a voluntary offer. Then offer size, registration number 7, it says about 7, it says about offer size at least 26% of the total shares of 10th day of PA, right? Includes shares of acquisition through a PA, right? Then if shareholding would exceed maximum limit undertaking to bring it down within time given under SCR Act, right? Self Act, whatever is there in that particular act, as per Companies Act, you see, or as per this particular substantial undertaking act, you see, or such person who has exceeded the maximum limit cannot make a voluntary delisting offer for a period of 12 months post offer period. Now this offer size is limited to at least minimum 26% of total shares as of 10th day of PA, right? Including shares of acquiring through a PA, right? So this offer size is limited. Then offer price, in case of direct acquisition, as per registration rule number 8 sub rule 2, whatever things are mentioned in that, those things has to be followed for direct acquisition. In case of indirect acquisition, as per registration number 8 sub rule 3, whatever rules are specified in that, those things should be followed. If acquisition has outstanding convertible instruments, conversion price of those also need to be computed, right? If there are any kind of convertible instruments which you can convert in other kind of instruments, if those things are also included in the offer price, so after conversion, what will be the price of that should also be calculated or computed. No compete fees to be added. So no calculation fees, computing fees should be added in the offer price. Higher price paid during the offer period, offer price will be stand revised. If you are paying higher price during the offer period, right, more amount of price is being paid or is being calculated, the offer price will stand revised. The offer price will get automatically revised. Pricing, indirect acquisition, if delay in PA, right, of more than 5 days, then the interest at 10% per annum has to be paid. Payment of difference in price if acquisition and PAC acquires post offer for a period of 26 weeks at a price higher than the offer price, except for another offer, open offer, delisting market purchases other than through negotiated deals if promoters subscribe to preference share offer at higher price impact, right? If there is a difference between the market price and other through negotiating the deals, then the promoter should subscribe to the preference share offer at higher market price impact. So that is what the pricing deal in case of acquisition strategies. Then exemptions. There are certain exemptions under registration number 10 sub rule 1. For exemption under rule 3 and 4, transfer of shares amongst qualifying persons between relatives, PAC, promoters, etc. So there will be interest transfer of shares amongst the qualifying persons between the relatives, right? Here that will be called as an exemptions, because you are transferring the shares or some other things between the relatives, between the same company itself, between the promoter, etc. Acquisition in the order course of the business by broker, merchant banker, or FI as a financial institution as a pledge. So if any kind of acquisition is order course of a business by these all people like broker, merchant banker, or financial institution, these are also been exempted. Pursuant to scheme of merger or BIFR, etc. Right? If anybody has any kind of schemes like merger or any scheme like BIFR, like it is an international scheme similar to that of a merger, even those are also exempted. Then the particular one more scheme as SARF AESI. So this is also a scheme which is related to a merger and acquisition and takeover. If anybody has followed a scheme, even this particular scheme, that is also exempted. Delisting, right? The listing of the company was already done. Now you are delisting your company's name in the stock exchange. If you do a delisting of your company's name, now you are being particularly exempted from following the particular rules. Transmission. Okay, transmission from one place, one person to another person, one place to another person, place of various things like control, power, voting rights, right, or holding, etc. If this all transmission is done, there also in those particular cases, because of transmission, the deal will get exempted, right? It will get totally exempted. Now, remaining exemption under section 10 subsection 2, regulation 10 and 2, acquisition of share without change in control pursuant to CDR scheme, right? Now there are some scheme which are related to central depository scheme. If anybody has followed that scheme, right, if acquisition of shares without changing in the control pattern, if it is done, there also exemption will be granted. Similarly, increase in voting rights beyond 25%. If there is increase in the voting rights more than 25%, to buyback if the shareholder is not reduced, right, then here they will follow a logic. If there is an increase in the voting right beyond 25%, then buyback if the shareholder is not reduced greater than 90% of buyback, right? So more than 90% of the buyback has to be done if there is more than increase in 25% of voting right, right? That is a particular exemption provided. Then exemption under creeping acquisition of 3 subsection 2. So this exemption provides under section 10 subsection 4, which says about right of issue, right? Whichever company is issuing anything, whether it is shares or debentures or preference shares, they have full right to issue it, right? And they are exempted to do these all kind of activities. Buyback as long as not practiced. So buyback has to be done, which is under exemption under creeping acquisition, right? If you are participating, you have to do a buyback of your things if your voting right are been increasing. Acquisition by promoter from state fin corporation pursuant to AGMT, or particularly when the acquisition is done to promote state finance corporation, right? Such things are also totally exempted. Acquisition by promoter from venture capital funds or any other similar kind of venture capital funds, financial venture capital institution pursuant to amalgamation, merger, or any other kind of things, those even things are totally exempted. Then recent changes, if you see process and procedures, public announcement has to be done, right? In case of merger and acquisition or substantial undertaking. Whenever a substantial undertaking is done on the date of acquisition, agreeing to acquire, in case of market purchase, prior to the date of placing, etc. Whatever you do, public announcement is very, very important in case of this. Similarly, in case of indirect acquisition, within 4 days. The day they are mentioned is within 4 days. Within 4 days of intent of acquisition, notify to the share exchange, right? They have to notify it even to the share exchange, even to the people as so that within 4 days indirect acquisition has been done. Detailed public statement within 5 days of public announcement. Right now, detailed public statement also need to be given within 5 days of public announcement. Once public announcement is done, detailed public statement should be done within 5 days. Then detailed public announcement to be sent to all share exchange, SEBI, and to the public, plus publication in papers. Right. Once public announcement is done, the report has to be sent to the share exchange office, SEBI, or even public, plus publications also should be done in the papers. File a draft letter to offer to SEBI within 5 days of details of public statements. Right. When public statements has been done, the draft copy of that, which you sent a letter to the SEBI within 5 days, has to be there with you. Then create escrow account within 2 days of detailed public announcement. Right. Within 2 days of that, create a particular account with name called as escrow account. First 500 crores, 25%, excess 10% of the balance. That has to be the details of that particular account. Then send low to the shareholders greater than 7 days of SEBI's observation. Right? These all terms will come when you go for an international merger, or where you have a company which is dealing in multiple businesses. These are some other processes like acquisition plus pack to disclose their acquisition during the offer period greater than 24 hours of acquisition. Then offer period 10 days open. Once tender cannot withdraw, once the tender has passed about acquisition, you cannot withdraw it. Acquisition to complete formalities greater than 10 days of closure of offer. Then other issues what they face is complication of acquisition. Acquisition will become sometimes more complicated because can be made only after completion of offer process, and preferential allotment will be done. 100% escrow can be complete after 21 days of detailed public announcement. Before that, it won't get completed. What happens to open offer trigger by a market purchases? Then similarly, if these all issues are not met properly, there will be a bigger issue in the market. Right? Due to that bigger issue, there are so many consequences or problems a company is going to face. Then obligations of the target company. No matter changes during the offer during unless special resolution through postal ballot. Right now, the special resolution has to be passed through a special act or a ballot. Constitute committee of indirect directors to the recommend on open offer and publish a paper and make available all information to the acquirer. These are the acquisitions finally of the target company. These are the disclosures, right? Disclosures to the share exchange and company. Acquisition including pledge, persons holding more than 25%, promoters to disclose creations, innovations, and disposal of pledge. Impact of the new code, how the new code has impacted. We just saw about the new code, whatever things are there, how it has impacted. Cost of open offers increases. The open offers in the market has gone increased like anything. Hostile takeover quite remote now, because the code are very rare and the codes are very difficult to be followed. Due to that, there is a hostile takeover is happening. Then exemptions rationalized and clarified. This particular code is having so many kind of exemptions. If you don't follow these all things also, you will be getting permitted to various things. It is very much rationalized, right? It is very much clarified also. It has all the things very clear. What thing you have to do it, you can do it. What thing you don't have to do, that is also mentioned. So it is very much clarified. Process and procedures are also very much rationalized. The process what to be followed for having a substantial takeover acquisition as per the new code, and the procedure as per the new code, that is also very much rationalized. Clearly it has been given by the SEBI and other people. Foreigner acquiring requires FIPB clearance. right? The foreigners, if they want to acquire, they need to get an international clearance first of all. Then they have to get a clearance from the SEBI, right? They need to require a FIPB clearance. Then the role of SEBI in processing offered documents needs rationalization and clarity. The role of SEBI is also has been increased. The role has increased not only just to watch it, they need to process it, they need to process all offer document, they need to rationalize and have a proper clarity towards all the objectives, right? Or have a proper clarity towards all the objectives. That is a very important role of them. Then the role of participating company, the role of company secretary has become very crucial and critical in listed entities, because their role has been increased like anything. Starting from a small job till a big job, their role has increased like anything. Apart from ensuring compliance, can also assist in structuring transformation or transactions. There has been a structuring transaction or change in various kind of uh, advices, or there can be, you can call as apart from compliances or giving just some compliance, it is also assisting the people in having a structuring transactions or transformations. Then role as advisor to open offers, right? The company secretaries, they are having a role as advisor to open offers. They are advising on various fields, maybe on the field of merger, acquisition, takeover. Apart from that, they are also advising a company on the voting rights, on control, on management, etc. So various kinds of role they are playing nowadays. Then SEBI to consider empaneling company secretary to certify smaller offers, right? Now SEBI is not only considering the big offers, but also it is giving the power, right, to company secretaries, right? What kind of power is that? They will certify the small offers. If there are any kind of a small offers, they don't have to take all the time permission from the SEBI, or they don't have to take all the time this permission from the management. If anything is there, they can easily certify it. Then they can inform later on to the management, to the SEBI, and to the respective people who are having a very wide range or wide area of the information.